Just jump in there. I remember well on work choices. You didn't have to lose your job to fear you might lose your job, right? It impacted grandparents worried about grandkids. It worried those that were in secure jobs about those in their family that might be in casual jobs. What I would fear with this change is that once you start affecting caps on overarching balances, it's just a matter of bringing that $3 million figure down and down and down. So once you start fiddling around and doing what you said you wouldn't do, the fear is for anyone with a super balance that somehow or other they're next.
Could be, but the coalition didn't suffer when they put in some taxes there in 2016-17, and I just don't think it carries the same weight as work choices and GST, which, you know, most Australians work. That had the potential to affect them. Not many Australians have $3 million in their super account. So, yes, I mean, there's a couple of things the opposition can exploit, such as the trust issue, such as the broken promises issue, and they can tie it to electricity bill savings and a whole lot of other issues. We'll get an electoral test soon enough. We'll have Aston. And I don't think Chris Minns would be welcoming all this super talk in New South Wales either, Peter, if it's got to be said. No doubt we'll have a news poll soon as well. But what I'm saying is this is a mark of Albanese as opposed to what Chalmers might want to do. Albanese is never going to do something massively unpopular. It ain't going to happen. And that's one of Peter Dutton's concerns as he tries to bridge the gap in 2 years' time.
Well, what about the risk the policy creep runs into capital gains tax? You know, the preferential treatment of family home or negative gearing. They were all mentioned in dispatches today. We certainly have got the overall budget cost to those out there now in the public domain. How does the opposition play it?
Well, they just have to... the opposition are waiting for economic circumstances to get worse for a chance of victory. Let's be frank about it. And they need to tie the government to that. The electricity bill promise gives them that opportunity. The superannuation policy, even though it hardly affects anyone directly, gives them an opportunity to say you can't trust these guys, they're going to do worse things to you. And some of Jim Chalmers' rhetoric feeds that. But until they make a more major change in terms of tax, which you get the sense the Treasurer really wants to because he was Shadow Finance Minister during that time of the shortened policies. He's happy to expand that tax expenditure statement to show all these supposed taxes that Treasury thinks we should be paying. Until Albanese allows him to introduce some of those controversial measures, I just don't think they have much to worry about, Peter. I mean, if Jim Chalmers was in charge, he would probably go for it and he'd put Labor potentially in trouble. But Albanese is very cautious. Now, there will come a time, and might come by 3 years, when sort of the gloss wears off Albanese. We see, you know, these days it happens a lot quicker than it used to happen. But right now, I still think he's sitting pretty.